Good morning, everyone. We're just at 10:30. I think, Brian, we're just going to give a couple minutes. First, make sure everybody who was able to register is able to join.
Yep, sounds good.
Great.
What do you guys think? You want to go ahead and get started? Well, welcome everybody. My name is Brian Osowski. I am the marketing director for the Lee County Visitor and Convention Bureau. And just wanted to say we are very happy to have all of you here with us today for our co-op program rollout. We've taken a different approach with co-op this year, of course, due to the pandemic. And what you're going to hear about today are all the programs that we have available in quarters 2 through 4. And you're going to get a preview of our brand new advertising co-op portal. So a lot of exciting content to share with you today. Not only have we taken a different approach with our co-op rollout, we're taking a different approach with the presentation today as well. And what I get to do is introduce the team who will be presenting to you today. Typically we do this in person, and of course, you know, this is the first time we've done this virtually. So we wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you to all of the talent that works on our account at MMGY Global, our agency of record, day in and day out. And so we wanted to bring all of those individual talents to you and have them speak to you in their specific area of expertise. So today with us, we have Joel Hennig. He is an associate creative director with MMGY. Joel has worked on Islandology with us. Joel has worked on Know the Feeling with us. Joel is also the guy who voiceovers our radio scripts on the phone and previews what they're thinking about pushing out on radio. I just love that. He really gets into character. You'll also hear from Alana and Kelsey, our media team. Alana leading the way on those strategies, and Kelsey is a senior planner and is really in the trenches with us with all of the media. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how hard these two ladies have worked. You know, we had to make the difficult decision to pause our media when we thought that COVID had shown a reduction in cases, and actually it hadn't, you know, after the 4th of July weekend. So these guys, they were on the phone, pausing all of our media, you know, helping us hit the reset button to make sure our messaging is accurate so that we'd be ready to go when market conditions persisted. Can't say enough about our MMGY media team. So you're going to also hear from Lauren today, who works on our emails. We've got fresh templates. We've got killer content. Our open rates and our click-through rates always exceed industry averages. And, you know, email is alive and well. And Lauren's a big part of why our email program is so successful. And then Sean, you'll hear from. His official title is Marketing Technology Strategist. What that means, I think, is Sean is he's probably the best web geek that we've ever seen. We love Sean. He's newer to our account, but has made such a positive impression on the entire team. And so he's already bringing so many ideas to the table. Can't say enough about Sean. Austin, oh my goodness. Social media, our award-winning social media team. They've kept us on brand throughout the entire pandemic, kept us moving in the right direction. taking the right approach with COVID, and then making sure that, we weren't getting beaten up on social media for saying the wrong thing. All the social listening and all the research and everything that goes into planning our content. I love our social team. Most recently, they helped us with a 4-week promotion called Beach Ready Spirit Week, which is a huge success. And so they definitely keep us on track and keep the ball rolling. So you'll get to hear from them, hear from Austin today as well. And then finally, Kylie, who I'm not sure is presenting today, but Kylie Sprengel is our account supervisor in Kansas City. Talk about being in the trenches with someone. Kylie's the one up at 11, 12 o'clock at night working on projects to make sure that we look good, to make sure that we make our deadlines, to make sure that all the projects in the queue, and believe me, there are dozens of them, continue to move forward. So I just wanted to give Kylie a shout out, for all of your hard work. And then finally introduce Elizabeth Escribano to everyone, whom I think on this Zoom call today, if you're interested in co-op, you probably know Elizabeth. She is part of our VCB work family. She has boots on the ground right here in Fort Myers. Her office is right across the street from ours. She runs this co-op program for us, and she has been instrumental in helping to develop the programs that you're going to hear about today, as well as taking the lead on the brand new advertising co-op portal that you'll now be using to replace the old one. So will Elizabeth be the one walking you through that, because Elizabeth has been the one that's been guiding that process, and we love Elizabeth and just can't say enough. So enough from me. I know we have a lot of content to cover today. Thank you again, everyone, for being with us today. We presented our Tourism Outlook event virtually last Thursday, and I encourage you, if you haven't taken a look, to go on to leavevcb.com and watch the recording, and to download our sales and marketing plan. A lot of what you'll be hearing about today obviously aligns with that plan, and both are in direct support of one another. So with that, thank you again for all of you for being here, and Elizabeth, take it away.
Thank you so much, Brian. Good morning, everyone. I do know a lot of you. I'm glad to see a lot of familiar names and faces. Thank you so much for joining today. Before I get into a very quick introduction, I just wanted to let everybody know that this presentation will be recorded, and the presentation deck that we're looking at on screen now and the recording will be uploaded to the industry site directly after we close. So don't worry about if you miss anything. Truly, everything will be available for you after, and of course, we're always here to answer questions. We will be stopping periodically for questions. So what you could do now is the chat feature in the Zoom. You can select everybody to ask your question throughout the presentation, or if you'd like to be anonymous, you can select Tara Yantis from the list there and ask the question. When we stop, Tara will disseminate those questions to the relevant team member, and we'll answer in order, so that in the interest of time. So with all that being said, we are approaching, as Brian said, this January to September co-op launch a bit differently than we have in the past. Whereas we usually give a detailed rundown of each program, this year, especially in light of COVID disruptions, we wanted to focus on providing more of an educational session that can be used to assist you in crafting your proprietary marketing plans as well as your co-op plan. So while we will delve into never before offered co-ops in more detail, we won't dive into the current existing programs that you're used to seeing now for many years, like the TripAdvisor digital display, web banners, or New York Times emails. But we do have that information from past years. So if you'd like it, just reach out to me and I can send you the presentation deck from last year with those details. So again, while we do recognize how important the co-op structure, the plan structure is, we also recognize the importance of detailing how it aligns with the overall brand VCB strategy. So everything we do is based on a tremendous amount of analysis of relevant resources, and we're always keeping a strong pulse on seasons, audiences, and markets. Due to our research, we are moving forward with optimism for sure, but we've definitely learned some lessons this year. All of you guys have gone through that with us. with all our revisions and, as Brian said, the pausing and the restarting. So in addition to providing an effective co-op plan, we also understand the need for a more flexible co-op plan as well. So again, our main priority today is to focus on how the brand and co-op influence each other to drive consumers down the travel funnel. We hope that we'll be able to take you'll be able to take some of the brand strategy and apply it to your standalone marketing plans to increase the efficacy and the reach of your own efforts. And lastly, before we get into the agenda, Kylie, I just wanted to remind partners that truly the absolute only purpose of the co-op program is to assist partners in extending your reach at a minimal cost. The VCB makes $0 on co-op. All dollars go straight back into the marketing plan. And in most cases, the VCB is subsidizing over 99% off of rate card, and oftentimes they're investing thousands of dollars over your cost. So even more than that, 99%. So with that, we can get into the agenda. Thank you, Kylie. So this first phase, recovery strategy, you've heard a lot about this in TDC meetings, the weekly meetings with the VCB, annual meetings. So we'll go through pretty quickly the consumer landscape, recovery indicators, our communication roadmap, and the VCB's recovery creative campaign. And then after quickly reviewing consumer or leisure, so consumer leisure, those are the same thing, audiences and market, we'll go through all the channels and tactics we use for both brand and co-op in each phase of the travel funnel. So when I say channel, I mean like social media, paid media, VCB email, VCB website. And when I say tactic, I mean the actual ad placement. So a Facebook post, digital display, which are web banners, or a print ad. So when we get into the funnel, we'll give a broad overview. We'll do the full funnel strategy for each channel. And then we will get into each phase of the funnel and where both co-op and brand play in, how they work off of each other. And then we'll get into new opportunities never offered before listing out those existing or current placements that I spoke about earlier, like the TripAdvisors and the New York Times. We'll then move to our audiences with much longer lead times and therefore a different strategy, which is trade and group. So travel agents, meeting planners, weddings, also known as the planners. So again, they have longer lead times. That's not going to be the same marketing strategy as we would use for consumers. And then lastly, we're really excited to, as Brian said, debut the new co-op portal. We've been working on it for the better part of a year. Really excited to roll that out, and we'll do that at the very end, and it'll be pretty quick, 10, 15 minutes. And with that, I'll hand it off to Alana.
Great, thank you, Elizabeth. As Brian mentioned, my name is Alana Patton, and I have the good fortune of working on media strategy for the VCB. So I'll cover off on quite a bit of the strategy conversation today, starting with the recovery strategy. So as we developed our recovery strategy, we took a lot of different factors into consideration. First up, we looked at media consumption to understand where we would really have the most efficient distribution. We also looked at a variety of macro and micro factors to understand the right time to deploy our message. And then we blended all of this into a communications roadmap that we'll dig into a little bit later. So first off, let's start with media consumption. When we think about developing a media mix, we want to make sure that we're meeting consumers where they're spending their time. This has never been more important than it is now when consumers' media behaviors are changing due to the pandemic. Things that were in progress in terms of shifts in consumption patterns have really been accelerated over the past few months. So we want to cover off on a few key factors today that are really driving the VCB strategy. The first up to touch on today is the evolution in the television space. So TV is no longer just linear TV or cable schedules. Consumers are really looking to develop TV in a way that's most convenient for them. And that's most often shifted to a connected format where consumers are able to have more control over their consumption. Connected TV will be a key component as the destination tries to deploy messaging with the broadest but most targeted reach to get inspiration and awareness generated. Next up, we want to touch quickly on the audio space. Terrestrial radio is still an important tactic to drive reach, but we've really seen a lot of transformation in the streaming audio space. One area that we are most excited about is in-car technology. And this is really a great way to reach consumers while they're on the go. It's reaching people who are already mobile or out and about and resuming more normal patterns, people that we feel are more likely to hop in the car and drive to the destination for a vacation. So really see this as a way to pick up on some subtleties from a targeting perspective, but really customize our messaging and our reach to specific markets. And then a subsection of that audio space is podcasting. Consumers have, been showing more and more interest with podcasts over the recent years. The growth was steady, but, pretty slow going. When the pandemic hit, we really saw a lot of increase in terms of the time spent with podcasts. Consumers feel a lot of loyalty to the podcast that they subscribe to and they follow. So there's a lot of engagement with the messaging and the advertising that's part of those podcasts. So again, this is really a great space to be in from brand loyalty and a general awareness perspective. The next trend to touch on is the continued blurring of offline and online media. This is evident across the board when we talk about media, but especially evident when we look at out of home and how that continues to evolve. The out of home space has become incredibly powerful when we compare those messages with digital placements and social placements. What we're able to do is still place those high impact, broad reaching out of home placements, geofence those placements, and then serve up messaging to people whose mobile phones were exposed to those devices. So people who pass by those out of home placements then get a mobile or a social message in a more receptive moment. So perhaps when they're at home, or taking a break throughout the day, when they're going to be more apt to engage with our messaging. So this combination in the out of home space has really increased recall and awareness, and we see a lot of lift from an arrival perspective when we look at the combination here. And then the final trend to touch on today is the shift in time spent. Consumers, by no surprise, are spending more and more time on social media. This is only elevated during the pandemic, and it is especially prominent across Facebook's channels. If we hop onto the next slide, we're able to see some of the big numbers that Facebook and Instagram are putting up, and we're planning to take advantage of these shifts as part of our paid strategy in the coming year. So that kind of wraps up the overview of the media consumption shifts that we're taking into consideration. There's a lot of other things that we're looking at, but those are some of the biggest components. We also took a look at a variety of factors in terms of macro and micro indicators as we look at ongoing how to assess progress through the pandemic. I won't read all of these factors by any means today, but keeping a pulse on these broad factors like government regulations and case rates really helps us understand kind of where we're at and trending through this. Another thing that's really important to keep in mind is consumer sentiment and travel demand. Some of those softer things on the right side under the micro indicators. Understanding where consumers are at is especially important as we put our messaging in front of them and ask them to travel to our destination. So when we look at all of those factors, we're obviously observing shifts in those and in the government regulations, of course, we've seen lots of changes there. But we want to make sure that we're taking all of these things into consideration as we're building out our strategy and our messaging, and really looking especially how consumers are in demand for travel. That's one of the biggest things that we're taking a look at. Some of those factors over on the bottom right side of this list here, looking to see if demand is returning to pre-COVID levels, and if people are searching and booking travel at the same rates, at the same kind of time patterns as they were before. So a lot of details that we're taking into consideration, but it helps us have a very data-based approach to our strategy and our messaging, and helps us bring some rationale to a time when things are not so rational. All of this we've blended together into a communications roadmap, as we've outlined here. Again, a lot of details on this slide, but just wanted to share the full picture with you guys today. Basically, what we've done is we've broken down the path to recovery into 3 phases based on key traveler behaviors. So within each of these phases, we want to think about what is the motivators that are driving a consumer, what's the role of the destination in terms of messaging that we're putting out there, and what are we ultimately wanting them to do. So this all just helps us understand where a consumer is at and where our messaging can best meet them. So despite all of the changes and all of the shifts going on about us, we're able to output messaging that really meets the consumer where they're at, and then ultimately measure our success against all of those different deployments. So we're really looking to understand a lot of the same things we've always tried to understand. How efficient is our media being? How many people are we reaching, and then ultimately driving to the destination. But as we pass through the pandemic, we're really looking to kind of key in on different factors at different points in the recovery, knowing that things aren't normal yet. So as we progress back toward a more normal state, which would be that go column on the far right, we'll eventually get back to the full view of prioritizing arrivals above everything else. At this point, we see a lot of value in monitoring search and booking demand and understanding that intent is still there.
Recovery messaging, that's me. My name is Joel Henning. I'm the Associate Creative Director, and I get the pleasure of representing the entire creative department that works on this account. Quick shout out to Brian. That was a really great intro earlier. I'm looking forward to reading radio when we get to do that again soon. So I could talk all day. I'm kind of long-winded, so I'm going to really try to keep this moving. So what we're looking at now is just kind of a more simplified version of what Alana was just going through. I think she hit on a lot of really great points. Except here you'll see that there's a wait phase. We had a messaging approach right when COVID hit. There were a lot of questions. There was quarantining, social distancing. So we wanted to meet the audience where they were, and that's something that you'll hear me say as I continue to talk. And I think that's really important, and it's important for all of us to continue to do. So I'll be touching on the overall messaging strategy and just kind of how we executed on that through our campaign, but also there's a lot that I think all of us can take away from this as well. So obviously go phase is when we get back into into normal. So right now we're really in that ready to set phase. So what does that sound like? How can we talk to people? For us, it was getting right back into the conversation, making sure that we were being relevant, that we were being inspiring, because we know that people were really dreaming about traveling again and kind of starting to plan. And as you can see in that set phase, we wanted to encourage people to explore and kind of learn a little bit more. And then give reasons to believe. That was really important for us. That's we want people to know. We want people to. We want Lee County to be people's next trip. So that was really the point of that. And we wanted to do that on an emotional level. And we thought that was a really great chance for us to connect with people. So on the next slide, you'll see,
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Joel.
Yeah.
Apologies, everyone. This is Elizabeth. Sorry, just jumping in. And just wanted to say, we are very optimistic that we're out of the wait phase of recovery. But again, we did learn some hard lessons this year, and we created a co-op plan that's going to allow us to pivot as necessary. So, meaning for some reason, if we did have to move back to the wait phase, hopefully we will not, we can change to inspirational messaging and still incorporate co-op placements, whereas this year we had to cancel them all. Partners would just have to change their messaging to align with those market conditions as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thanks, E. You've always got my back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what we know about the traveler, as you can see here, social distancing, hybrid schooling, quarantine, all that stuff, it's really forced us to adjust our daily norms, our daily routines. And people are really, looking forward to getting their lives back to normal and thinking about future travel plans. I know I am. And we're looking to escape to where, we can feel comfortable and fulfilled, right? So what do we know about us, right? The beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel is an open island getaway that naturally fills people with hope and optimism. This is something that is very true. A lot of people that we talk to, return visitors, new visitors who are experiencing it for the first time, this is very, very natural, very natural feeling. And so we thought about that, and we wanted to own that, and we wanted to keep going. And so as we were talking, we got to feeling, or we got to learning that we're all dealing with our own complicated feelings right now in different ways, but we're all sharing that longing to be more hopeful and optimistic, and Lee County can do that for us. So with its natural setting and positive approach to life, the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel embodies that positive spirit. So though everyone experiences it differently, it's something that past visitors know very well, and potential visitors need to know, and we want to share that with people. And so as we were talking through this, it really became obvious to us that the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel is the reconnection point to knowing the feelings we all want to feel. And that's where we came to the current campaign, which is Know the Feeling, because visitors want to know the feeling of Fort Myers. They want to feel relaxed. They want to feel grateful. They want to feel optimistic again. They want to feel enthusiastic, feel connected. And those are all feelings that they can feel, with us and with you, of course. So what does that look like? This is a quick example of, print ads, just really, really visually, a lot of color, a lot of positive feelings here, quick lines that really get to what we want people to feel. And on the next slide, you'll see a quick example of what we can do in the digital space, what we are doing. Again, trying to be as visual as possible, letting those feelings lead, and really trying to have that emotional connection. And even though the campaign leading will Know the Feeling, as you can see here, the co-op partners, they really play a great role in that, in paying off the campaign and knowing the feeling. And every visitor who does visit can know the feeling. And again, you play a big part in that. So like I said, kind of rambling on now, retracing my steps. So time to move on. Thanks, everybody.
That's great. Thank you, Joel. And that, is a great point, right? The co-op is paying off the brand, but it's also uniting us, right? So it's keeping us all under the same umbrella. This is, giving us a sense of place. So except for social media and featured listings, all creative is going to start with VCB messaging, and then co-op is incorporated on the end frame, like you just saw on digital display, web banners, or within an ad for print along the sidebar. Again, this allows us to set that sense of place. We speak to the destination attributes. We have more space there for you. And we speak to the things that are important to our visitors so that we can increase ad recall, increase our reach, increase your reach. So again, everything except for social featured listings will start with VCB Know the Feeling campaign in these phases of recovery. And we could get into marketing strategy, Alana. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So as we think about how all of this comes together, especially in the digital examples that Jill just walked us through, including co-op, we want to make sure that we're touching on how the brand and the co-op messaging intersects and makes the greatest impact. So we have a couple of more kind of structural approach slides to touch on as we get into this. First up is touching on our audience approach. I know audiences were a big discussion point in the sales and marketing meeting just last week. So we won't go into too much depth here, but it's really never been more important to reach people when they're in the right mindset and most open to messaging than it is now. Very similar to a media consumption note, we want to make sure that we're meeting people where they're at. To do this, we have several different audience strategies. The first step is our key audiences. We have 6 key audiences. We've gone through these in previous meetings and just last week as well. So won't dive into a ton of them right now, but really want to focus on some of these additional tactics that we have at play. Of those 6 audiences that we just flipped through on the slides, we're able to overlay a resiliency targeting tactic on top of those to make sure that we're really reaching the consumers who are most likely to travel now. This is a really important tactic for us in ensuring that we're reaching those people who are going to get out and visit right now. So that's been a very successful piece for us so far. We've also evolved our intent targeting strategy to capture, that expressed search demand in slightly different ways. Want to make sure that we're capitalizing on those later bookings that people are making right now, and also making sure that we have placement on premium sites that are really reflective of what people are interested in right now, especially related to outdoor activities and interests. That's one that is especially popular as people plan their vacations, wanting to be able to, have distance while also still having a vacation. And then from a market perspective, again, this was touched on last week in the sales and marketing meeting, so I don't want to dive into it too far. The team knows I could talk about markets in these tiers for an endless amount of time. So very, very briefly, we were really looking at this drive market approach, knowing that consumers are willing to drive farther than they have in previous years. They're willing to get in the car and to make those trips to really have, more control over their experience and their ultimate arrival in the destination. When we think about some of the national targeting that we're looking at, this is really where, we can first start talking about the co-op piece coming into play. We of course have, some of those premium publisher alignments, those print ads that we'll talk to in just a minute. But it's really where we start seeing intent really come into play here for us, wanting to make sure that we're reaching consumers regardless of where they're located. If they're interested in traveling, we want to get our message in front of them and get them to the destination. So a lot of opportunity here from a co-op perspective to capture that intent and drive those conversions. And then, as Elizabeth mentioned, next up we have our discussion of our full funnel approach. So this, I think, is really a great place for us to talk about, how the brand and the co-op messaging intersects and how all of it works together to really drive the greatest impact for us collectively. So as we talk about the full funnel approach, this isn't something new. We've talked about this in past presentations and how all the stakeholders work together. But we did just want to reiterate some of the key factors. We've shaped up the funnel this year a little bit different. This year it's a shell, so we're bringing a little bit of fun to the funnel this year. But we're really excited to talk about some of these tactics and how we can all play together for best benefit. So starting out with that prospecting phase, at this top level of the funnel, of the shell funnel, we're really looking to generate awareness here. So making sure people are aware of our destination and that we're in their consideration set as they plan their vacations. So at this phase, you're going to see more broad reaching tactics, really looking to spark the dream in people and making sure at this phase that the brand is really doing the heavy lifting here. We're really trying to spin up those broad visions of how they can enjoy their destination or their visitation with us. In that middle phase, the intent phase, here we're really looking to make an emotional connection with travelers. We want the travelers to really start seeing themselves in our destination. And this is really where we see partner messaging coming into play the most. We want to make sure that consumers know where they can stay, where they can dine, and where they can recreate while they're visiting us. So really helping them, see themselves in very specific situations and enjoying their time on vacation. And that lower phase, the conversion phase at the bottom, here all of our efforts should really be focused on driving consumers to book their trip. So again, this is a really key phase for all of our partners, all of you guys to be involved to really help drive that conversion and getting consumers booked up and in the destination. So as we think about how all of these phases come together, we have 4 different channels. Brian already introduced those team members earlier today, but those 4 channels will touch on how they then ladder up to the full funnel approach. So we'll touch quickly on paid media, social media, email, and then website. So we'll turn it over to Kelsey.
Kelsey is with the media team. So from a paid media perspective, for the full funnel approach, we really make sure that all of our plan components are aligning with our larger goals, and that they're kind of evolving with our communication strategy. We've worked to ensure that our media mix really allows for flexibility this year and allowing us to align with consumer consumption habits that Alana touched on earlier. Within this, we'll also maximize our reach with our high impact integrated package partnerships with our proven partners. And we'll continue to leverage some evolving broadcast technology and those digital extensions to really create greater brand awareness and consideration. For out of home this year, we're really looking to take advantage of the efficiencies of digital out of home, which along with the mobile and social geofencing that we'll do with those will lead to greater reach. And lastly, we'll use a variety of targeting tactics and placement types to make sure that we're reaching consumers at all stages of the trip planning journey and really driving the greatest conversion. From a KPI perspective, for brand tactics, we'll look to maintain our approach of tracking all media engagements and efficiencies, as well as that search, booking, and arrival production metrics to the overall destination. And then for co-op, we'll focus on that targeted reach that will hopefully be to drive partner booking production.
Hi everyone, this is Austin on the social media team. So thinking about our broader social media strategy, one thing we really want to do is make sure we're meeting consumers and our audience where they are. And so we know for the VCB specifically that is Facebook and Instagram, and that's actually pretty true across a lot of brands. Facebook and Instagram are going to be the primary place where brands want to focus their energies. For us at the VCB, Pinterest and Twitter are secondary priorities. So knowing that's where our audiences are, we make sure to adapt our placements to Facebook and Instagram, making sure they work across both channels. Then we also make sure we're reaching some really highly targeted audiences in our paid placements, which allows us to then build really specific lookalike email subscriber and custom retargeting audiences that once we get down to building those co-op placements, allow us to really reach individuals who have shown a demonstrated interest in the destination. When thinking about measuring those, we're looking specifically at impressions, so individuals who have seen those placements, engagements, so on social, things like likes, comments, shares, and then web traffic, so driving link clicks from those placements to the specific website.
All right, hi everyone, I'm Lauren Pope with the email marketing team. And from an email perspective, we're really in a position where we're able to reach those consumers who have specifically opted in to hear from the VCB brand, which really just gives us that ability to push the content that we want and still get good engagement across the board from all of these users. With email being really a leading digital activity, it gives us that flexibility to not just promote content, but also to push conversions through partner offers. So coming out of the wait phase of COVID, our strategy is really just returning to a more consistent and frequent deployment cadence where we're providing that trip planning content, but we're also having at least one piece of content in our emails that is providing subscribers with a link to resources where they can learn more about the precautions being taken in destination, just so that they have all the information they may need when planning their trip. Email really falls in between the intent and conversion phases of the funnel. Our brand messaging offers travelers the experience and activity ideas for their trip, as we know they have some sort of intent to travel at some point. And then the co-op aspect really hits home with the conversion tactic by supporting, pushing, and converting those brand efforts by offering deals on places to stay or activities to do while in destination. And then for the KPIs, both brand and co-op measure success on open rates. That is how many eyes are being seen on the content and are being exposed to the brand. And that's really what our ultimate goal here is. Brand is also measured on clicks, just so that we can see what people are interested in at any given time and base our future content off of that.
Hi, I'm Sean Bryan with the marketing technology team, here to talk to you about the VCB website. Our strategy with the website is to use website personalization to make sure that we're staying relevant, increase engagement, and improving our key metrics. We are deploying our personalization efforts and targeting based on media exposure, geolocation, repeat visits, content viewed or not viewed, and goal abandonment and goals met. Our KPIs on brand are website engagement metrics, such as the pages per session, the session duration, and a decrease in the bounce rate, as well as an improvement among visitor guide requests, e-newsletter signups, and partner referrals. And then on the co-op, we are measuring impressions. Like email, the website resides in the intent and conversion phases of the marketing funnel.
Great, thank you, Sean. I think this is a good place for us to stop to see if we've received any questions yet, Sarah.
None have come in through the chat yet.
Okay, great. Well, the chat is open, everyone, and we will be stopping again. So again, anything you need, please do feel free to include that in the chat to Tara or to everyone. Thank you. Okay, we can start on the prospecting funnel phase.
Great, thanks, Elizabeth. So now that we've gone through the 3 different phases of the funnel, we'll really get into the good stuff here. So we'll start talking about each phase of the funnel. We'll talk about approach, just so that we cover off on the strategy and what we're looking to measure at each phase by channel. And then we'll also talk about the different partner advertising opportunities at this point. So jumping right into prospecting, so you'll notice that the graphic over here on the right, the top part of the shell, the unshaded area, is what we'll be focusing on first. So really with this phase, we're looking to generate awareness and excitement. We're really looking to deploy messaging that conveys the destination's uncrowded natural setting. Want to make sure that Co-op supports these efforts through promoting very unique experiences that you'd only have within our destination. At this phase, we're looking at a media mix inclusive of media and social. Media is going to be utilizing high impact, large scale formats that really best portray the destination's, the depth of the destination. Similarly, social will be utilizing content and video at this phase. So really looking to inspire people and spark that dream at this phase. And when we look to measure performance at this level, focused here on reach, looking for offsite engagements and site traffic as well. So really looking to again, trying to spread that net and reach as many new consumers as possible.
So from a paid media perspective, in the prospecting phase, we're really looking to reach consumers at the highest level. So this is where we're creating greater awareness, sharing inspirational messages and beautiful imagery to really grab their attention of any potential new visitors. As far as messaging goes, keeping things light and inspiring will create greater brand awareness for the destination and then secure greater visibility for all partners. KPIs in the prospecting phase will be impressions for both brand and co-op, as well as video completions for brand. So going into some paid media opportunities. So these are our current and upcoming placements that we'll have for this year. In the prospecting phase are custom print spreads with these 4 Meredith titles. So these are custom advertorials, so they're designed to look like the editorial of each magazine, and then partners will fit into each of those.
Yeah, so for social media at this phase, we're really focusing on reaching as many people as possible. And so this, the prospecting phase really focuses on our organic content that's being pushed out on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow us on those channels, what you're seeing is really what we're talking about here, those daily posts. So we make sure that they're timely, informative, and inspirational, really encouraging people to consider the destination, and we're sharing a lot of different pieces of information as well, trying to appeal to a lot of different individuals and their interests. And so at this phase, we are still looking at impressions, reach, and social media engagements. And we do actually have a new opportunity to participate at this this phase of the funnel, and that's our content calendar inclusion co-op placement. And so through this, we will share a post from the Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel's Facebook page to our organic audience of over 700,000, and then we'll promote it for a period of 3 days following that initial post. And so you'll get exposure to individuals who follow us on Facebook, as well as friends of current followers, and then have that exposure for an additional 3 days with the promotion, but then it'll also live on the Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel's Facebook page past that. And so the details of that, we will select the specific image and draft copy based on content notes that you all would provide. And then we'll work with you to finalize what that will look like in terms of making sure the messaging is where we want it to be. And you'll be able to review that as well.
Next up is the intent phase. So when we look at the purpose of this phase, I'm really looking to identify and capitalize on intent signals that consumers are displaying. So making sure that we're, again, making that emotional connection with consumers, really wanting them to start seeing themselves in the destination, experiencing their vacation with us. The media mix of this phase will include all 4 channels that are represented here today: media, social, email, and website. We'll dig into each of these, but just briefly to touch on what each of these channels will focus on. Media will have a really emphasis on audio placements. We'll really start introducing travel endemic sites here as well. So these are sites focused entirely on travel, and then really get to work with some of our more aggressive targeting tactics here, using a slew of behavioral, contextual, and intent signals to really start reaching our potential visitors in a very granular way. Social will be, again, usually using those similar travel intent signals. Email will come into the mix here and use an inspirational tone across a variety of email types. Lots of opportunities from an email perspective, but really looking to inspire here at this phase. And from a site experience, looking to personalize consumers' experience as much as possible and deliver a very relevant message. You will see that the measurement notes here are different from the previous prospecting phase. So here we're really looking to measure those intent signals, looking for signals of travel intent. Are they signing up for our e-newsletters? Are they requesting visitors guides? And then how are they engaging with all of our different media types, whether it be a paid placement, a social placement, or those VCB emails.
So getting into the paid media approach here, and the intent, Lana said, we're trying to drive that consideration among consumers so that they'll choose the Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel for their next vacation. We're trying to make an emotional appeal and really highlighting the attributes and activities so that consumers can start to picture themselves here in the destination. Messaging here, as I mentioned, will focus on highlighting those attributes that would help attract people and really drive consideration of the specific partner offerings. KPIs from a brand perspective would be a cost per engagement, and we'll start to monitor our search and booking demand. In co-op, we'll still look at those impression goals.
And as you can see here, sorry, on that previous slide, thank you. We do offer basically 4 standard banner sizes for our digital display. So when you guys go into the co-op portal and you see like requests for different different image sizes, that is because you see here these 3 aspect ratios are completely different. So if you send one large image, we're going to have to crop it and possibly remove, whatever imagery you might want in there. So we do have specs in the co-op portal to match all of these sizes. You can submit one image, but again, just wanted to call out, this is an example of why we request different image sizes.
Thanks, Eve. So jumping into some new opportunities in the intent phase this year, Meredith Display will be one of those new opportunities. So Meredith is a lifestyle publisher. They produce the 4 print titles that we talked about earlier, so Midwest Living, Parents, Southern Living, Travel and Leisure, as well as many others. But they conducted a survey recently in August of their readers related specifically to travel, and of their audience, 43% are looking to book their trip within those next 12 months, so through next August. And by the end of 2020, about 80% will be back out and about, so dining in restaurants. 50% will be looking to book a hotel stay, and over 40% have said that they're ready to fly again. So feel really good about this audience returning strongly to the travel space in the coming months. The display program will run across all of Meredith titles in conjunction with the digital articles that we'll be running with Meredith. Messaging here should focus on offers or deals that would be available during that seasonal window. And this program is open to both accommodations and attractions. So another new opportunity here would be with Conde Nast and a display program with them as well. So Conde Nast is another well-known publisher. They have titles like Conde Nast Traveler, Architectural Digest, New Yorker, many others as well. Their audience skews slightly female. They have an average age of 55 and a household income just under 120,000. They reach over 30 million Florida travelers each year. Program with Conde Nast will use their first party data to reach users who are really showing the greatest interest in travel. Messaging again here should focus on those seasonal deals that are available and is again open to both accommodation and attraction partners. And then getting into current placements that we'll have continuing for this year. And from a dedicated email perspective will be those New York Times Great Getaways email, Sherman's Travel, Luxury Link, and eTarget. Go to the next one, some display programs we'll have again with the Smithsonian, Sherman's Travel, TripAdvisor, Travel Spike, and our travel intender targeting, as well as our mobile in-state beach destination geofencing. So trying to hit those visitors who are at other Florida beach destinations and trying to encourage them to visit Fort Myers and Sanibel instead. And then we'll also have our Pandora audio and display running across mobile. And then the last one here would be the Matador native articles. So these are custom articles. The topics will vary by season based on the activities of interest within those seasons. And as far as messaging across all of the current placements go, readers of Luxury Link, Matador, and the New York Times, Sherman's Travel, and Smithsonian would value higher end experiences over deal-based messaging. And then eTarget, Pandora, Travel Spike, TripAdvisor, our travel intender targeting, and the mobile geofencing would be more interested in those deals and that value specific messaging. So something to keep in mind there.
So at this phase on social media, we are using Facebook's trip consideration targeting to reach users and audience members that we know are really interested in travel. And we're using messaging that's timely and is related to current happenings, maybe seasonal happenings, things like that, to make sure that the information that we are serving them is relevant and fresh and is relevant to their interests at this time. One thing to note, though, is that we don't offer any co-op placements at this phase, but the information that we're generating from these placements on the VCB side is then used to build audiences at the conversion phase when we're building those co-op placements. So we're able to, again, use the info generated here and gathered here to really target individuals we know are interested in traveling to the destination.
For the intent phase for VCB email, as I mentioned before, email works mostly in this phase to provide that inspirational and informational trip planning content for the consumers. We're able to utilize both interest-based and location-based targeting, such as in-state versus out-of-state newsletters, so that we can provide the all-important, timely, and relevant content to our subscribers. Most of the content that we highlight as a brand, as I mentioned before, is just experiences, activities, itineraries, and then the co-op included in those same emails really drives those efforts with their offers. Currently in our emails, we're really hitting home with the outdoor activities, the outdoor dining, since we know that's super high up on the needs and wants of travelers, just having that wide open space. And then the co-op messaging in VCB email should really focus on the safety precautions that are being taken, deals and incentives that set the partner apart. KPIs are the same here, with open rate being important for both brand and co-op, and then click rate being important for brand. A new opportunity that we have is the inclusion in all 3 of our welcome emails. So previously it was just inclusion in the first email, and then now you'll be included in all 3. The cadence for these emails are that the first email is deployed once someone signs up to receive our newsletters. Then 3 days later, they get the second welcome email, and then 3 days after that, they get the third email. So all of these are sent within about a week span of someone signing up. This is a quarterly placement, and we have about 10,000 new subscribers per quarter. So our estimated impressions is around that number. And then both accommodations and attractions partners are able to buy into this opportunity. Messaging here should be timely and relevant as to what sets the partner apart, mostly focusing the offers in that quarter time period. We see really great results with this series, way above industry average, with about a 35% open rate. And then we also see that about 25% of the total clicks we get on these emails are on the partner offers. So we do really well with these emails in the co-op placements. Then I'll just quickly run through these existing placements. We have our monthly e-newsletters. So we send the same offers for both in-state and out-of-state subscribers from October to March. And then we have a special newsletter dedicated to in-state residents from April to September. For our quarterly partner dedicated emails, these are entire emails just dedicated to the partner. These reach about 100,000 subscribers, and both accommodation and attraction partners are eligible for this as well. We do have a touch of brand messaging at the bottom, but the main focus is really on that partner offer for these. Then we have our partner focused welcome email. So this is the 4th email in our welcome series, but it is solely dedicated to just partner offers. When someone clicks any link in one of the first welcome emails, then they will get this 4th one, and it has a super high engagement rate of about 40% on average. And then finally, we have our bridal welcome series, and this is sent to leads who signed up to receive wedding information from the VCB. It's also a 3 email series, and it's sent at the same cadence that the leisure welcome is. Partners are also included in all 3 emails for this series as well.
For the VCB website in the intent phase of the funnel, we know that the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel is in the consideration set at this point, and the role of the website is to turn those website visitors into travelers. We are really concerned with driving email newsletter subscribers and visitor guide requests at this point to keep that conversation open beyond the one session, to make sure they're, for example, getting into the email channel that can be brought back to the website for the conversion phase of the funnel. For our messaging, we're really highlighting the communities and experiences of the destination, such as outdoor dining, hiking, and kayak excursions. Our key performance indicators are brand related. So we're looking at pages per session, the session duration, bounce rate reduction, email newsletter sign-up conversion rate, and the visitor guide request conversion rate.
And then last but not least, we have our conversion phase of the funnel. So as we look at the next slide, you can see is that lower bottom, lower part of the shell that is unshaded. The purpose of this phase is to generate that sense of urgency to book travel. So really making that last push to drive conversions here. Messaging at this point should be very tactical. And then this is, of course, a crucial place for the brand and the co-op messaging to intersect. Very important to be pushing our best offers and deals in front of consumers at this point. The media mix here again includes all 4 channels that you've been hearing from today. Media will be very focused on those travel endemic sites. We'll be looking at retargeting and lead generation throughout these efforts here. So have some fine balances between the number of times that we're messaging to a consumer and actually driving that conversion. Similarly, the social team will be deploying, pretty advanced retargeting and lead generation strategies as well. Email will be sending out personalized content at this point, and the site experiences will be very personalized for the most relevant user experience here. And then all of these efforts will be focused on, really driving that final push in terms of bookings and arrivals. But at the same time, we'll be measuring engagement with these tactics to ensure that we're being efficient with our dollars while we're driving those conversions.
Jumping into the paid media approach and the conversion phase, as Alana mentioned, we're really looking to get consumers to commit and go ahead and book their trip. So messaging here really includes those direct calls to action, which helps drive the partner bookings. KPIs in the conversion phase for brand will again be looking at those search and booking volumes, as well as starting to measure the arrivals to the destination as a whole. Co-op again will look at that impression reach.
And this is, again, just an example of one of our campaign web banners, or what we call digital display. You'll see this as leisure digital display in the co-op portal. The brand doing the lifting in the beginning and then ending with our co-op portion. The co-op portion always stays on the page. We have the option to cycle through the banners over and over. We do not. We keep the co-op partner end frame up on screen. And of course, these click through to your website.
Getting into the paid media opportunities, a new one that we have this year that we're excited about is the Vacation Rental OTA. So an OTA is an online travel agency and allows users to book their accommodations directly on the site. So Vacation Rental OTA functions just like a standard one, but offering only that vacation rental specific inventory. So 85% of consumers who book a vacation rental travel with a bigger group, and their average length of stay is about 3 times that of other travelers. Of the platform audience, about 62% is female. Their average age is 52, and they have a household income of about 114,000. So the display banners here will just run across the content pages related to the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel and other nearby destinations, and then to people who have previously searched or viewed those pages. So here, an offer is strongly recommended. And as far as partner types, only vacation rental specific partners should run this offer. Another new opportunity for conversion is the in-market geofencing. So these will be mobile display and interstitials that will run through geofencing technology that will help us distinguish between visitors and actual residents. And then we'll deliver the creative of nearby partners to help encourage visitation. So from a messaging perspective here, again, we'll really want to include an offer that would help encourage the user to visit while they're nearby. This offer is best for attractions and restaurants, since the users will already be in the destination, they'll likely already have their accommodations booked and settled at that point. And then a current placement that will continue this year is our Island Hopper display targeting. So that will run in the fall and encourage attendance at the 2021 Island Hopper Songwriter Festival. Again, offers are strongly recommended here, and this is open to both accommodations and attractions.
And then on social media, as we've been discussing throughout, at this phase, we're really speaking to a highly interested audience of people who we know are interested in travel to the destination. And so they're looking for deals and incentives to book now. And so we're going to take those audiences that we've been able to build through our other placements and other targeting efforts and build some really specific audiences for those co-op placements. So when thinking about messaging at this phase, we really want to focus on those timely offers and incentives to encourage bookings, so discounts or key messaging points for travelers during this time. And we're also really focusing on landing page views and clicks specifically at this stage over things like engagements and impressions. Those are still important, but at this stage, we're really looking to drive people to actually book and take some sort of action. And so currently we have 3 different placements that allow you to get your message out to consumers. We have a single image placement that will run on both Facebook and Instagram, and that's pretty self-explanatory. It's one image with some post copy and a headline driving to a link that you specify. We have a carousel placement running on Facebook and Instagram, and that is approximately 3 to 4 different images that the user can click through. We can customize various headlines on each image and again, drive to a specific link. And the slideshow video placement is somewhat similar to the carousel placement in that we'll use 3 to 4 different images to build a video that will filter through those 3 or 4 images. In that case, you can only have the one headline, but again, driving to a specific link that you would provide.
From an email perspective, we do have a couple emails that integrate into the conversion approach. Those are our vacation date series and our kiosk emails. There are no co-op placements in these, as the subscribers receiving them have their trip planned already for the most part. So our ultimate goal really is to create excitement and provide them with any last minute information they may be looking for. Our vacation date series is sent to subscribers a month before their intended travel month, and it gives them things to do, places to see. And just in case they don't have things booked, we do include a link to the deals homepage on the website, just so they can view the offers there. And then our kiosk email goes to a much lower number of subscribers, but travelers can submit their information at an airport kiosk, and they'll receive a real-time personalized trip itinerary based on their noted interests.
For the conversion phase of the funnel for the VCB website, we know we have an audience leaning toward the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel, and now's really the time to solidify their vacation plans. We are using website personalization for premium featured accommodations and attraction deals within the context of trip planning and deal searching. And where appropriate, such as within the communities pages, we are serving co-op content alongside the editorial content. And our KPI at this phase of the funnel is impressions. A couple of new opportunities. Up first, the premium featured accommodations deals. This is a placement that we've tested and that we are officially rolling out. So targeting is based on engagement with the where to stay section. We are serving these offers via desktop fly-ins and mobile banners. Up to 5 accommodations partners may participate at one time. This is a dedicated placement that rotates through partners evenly. The timing for this opportunity is quarterly, and we anticipate 8,000 impressions per accommodations partner, plus featured deal listings impressions. The cost is $345. The requirements are that you must submit a deal through the VCB industry portal. Similarly, the premium featured attraction deals, this targeting is based on engagement with the things to do section. It is served via desktop fly-ins and mobile banners as well. Again, this is a dedicated placement that rotates through up to 5 participating attraction partners evenly, also on a quarterly basis, and 400 impressions per partner plus featured deal listing impressions. The cost is $245. And the requirement again is that a deal must be submitted through that VCB industry portal. And
thank you, Sean. And sorry to jump in, Sean. I just wanted to call out that this is going to be the only co-op placement where you're not submitting materials through the co-op portal. As Sean said, you're going to submit them through the VCB's industry portal. You have to submit it before the quarter starts so that we can feature it for you on the first day. And also, if you buy into a premium featured attraction or premium featured accommodation deal, you do not have to buy into a featured accommodation or a featured attraction deal. You'll get that automatically with this premium placement. Thank you, Sean.
And as a reminder on some current placements with the VCB website, on the featured listings pages, broken down by accommodations, attractions, deals, restaurants, and events. As you can see in the image at right, these are embedded placements that are at the top of the listings section. And again, we are rotating partners evenly. The participation amount is different based on which section of the featured listings we're talking about. So accommodations, attractions, and restaurants are able to rotate up to 25 participating partners, deals with 15, and then events for 2.
Okay, and this is actually a good stopping point for us too. That's the destination strategy for consumer or leisure marketing. Before we move on to travel, trade, and groups, Tara, do we have any questions?
We do have a few questions. The first one, I think Alana would be able to speak best to, and it's really just a question of going back to market approach for Q1. And the question is it geared more towards drive markets versus our typical Q1 Midwest/Northeast markets? So maybe Alana, if you could just briefly revisit that piece.
Yeah, you bet. From a market perspective so far, we are seeing a lot of visitation from in-state markets. That's been our strongest volume to date as we've progressed through recovery. We are seeing people drive farther than they typically have. So some of those markets, like maybe a Nashville, markets in that area, we have seen an increased volume of arrivals from that market, that region. We are still seeing good numbers from a Chicago. It isn't what it was previously, but we are starting to see some of those farther out markets pick up and see a lot of potential there as the weather shifts as well in those Midwest and those Northeast markets. So we do still see good interest and are starting to see an uptick in arrivals from those destinations too.
And also, Alana, specific to co-op, the vast majority of our co-ops are going to be national placements, correct? I mean, because of the phase that they're in intent and conversion, national placements work best for co-op, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And with that national targeting, it doesn't mean that, every placement is going to run in a specific region. We're really letting that targeting shift to the markets where we're seeing the most intent so that we have the most likelihood to convert travelers. So it really gives us a lot more flexibility to drive arrivals.
Perfect. And then staying with Alana, or Alana, you might want to toss this one over to Kelsey too. The question is, how does the in-market geofencing offered this year compare to what was offered in the past?
I think that's a good one for Kelsey.
Yeah, I can do that. So this will be very similar, or it should be the same that we ran last year. So we'll have those kind of high impact interstitials that will be kind of like a slide feature to rotate through all of the partners that have signed up for the program. And then there'll also be standard mobile display that will display the partner that is closest to the user's location. So we'll kind of have that high impact one that features all partners together, and then there'll be partner specific placements as well.
Perfect. And then the last one on this section, Elizabeth, you might want to tackle. Just had a couple questions privately regarding how folks can access all of this information after the presentation today.
Sure, we're gonna go through that at the very end. I'll give you the location of the presentation as well as the recording. You'll have a PDF of the entire co-op plan on that link as well. And we'll also have the co-op portal demonstration. So everything's going to be on the industry site, leadvcb.com. And at the end of the presentation, we'll get into exactly where you can find that.
Perfect. And that wraps the direct questions for now.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we can get into our travel, trade, and group approach. Again, as we said up at the top, these are planners, right? So they're going to have a different strategy than our consumer strategy, of course. And we're going to talk about meeting planners, travel agents, and weddings. Kelsey or Alana?
Yeah, so we will start with our meeting planners and our approach there. If you want to go to the next slide. So where applicable for meeting planners, we'll look to target planners in certain states that we know have a history or a high propensity to book meetings in Florida or around the Southeast. We'll heavy up placements in the key calendar year Q4 and Q1 with a focus on educational and engagement tactics, knowing that while planning cycles may have changed and they'll continue to evolve. We'll maintain our presence with our proven meeting endemic partners. We'll look to expand on our programmatic tactics so we have an always-on approach, and we can reach planners anywhere across the web that they may be consuming content. Partner messaging will be incorporated at all funnel phases, given that the important role that the actual meeting spaces and the destination amenities play in the meeting planner decision to book the meeting there. All meeting planner programs will be open to accommodation partners as they have the actual meeting and hotel space to offer planners, and those spaces and amenities are what often convert the booking. KPIs for brand will be a cost per engagement, and then we'll also look at the number of leads that we receive from those education tactics. And then co-op will look at impressions and also email open rates.
Great, thank you. And I just saw a quick peek of one of our print ads on the previous slide, but if you could advance, please. Thank you. Here's some more examples. On the left, you'll see a print ad, and on the right, you'll see our digital display. We're particularly proud of this campaign, and in fact, we did win a Visit Florida Henry Award for it. The Henry, as you guys all know, I'm sure, is the highest honor in a category, so we were very excited, very proud of this campaign. The focus here is on speaking to the meeting planner, highlighting attributes for attendees once in destination, and calling out some of the most important factors that meeting planners are considered to book a meeting. So we did update the campaign slightly for recovery to align with the Consumer Know the Feeling campaign and for brand connection. So we've changed up layout treatments and fonts a bit so that the consumer can connect this still to the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. We also added a broad health and safety message. And again, the VCB can only speak to this generally. It's really up to the partners to highlight what measures they have in place. So if you do have those measures, please do be sure to highlight in your copy. Those measures focus on value adds, deals, capacity, space, all the things that we know are important to a meeting planner and to the planner, the attendees, and to the success of the actual event.
Great, so getting into some of our paid media opportunities. So a new one this year is programmatic display. So programmatic display will use contextual and behavioral targeting to reach users who we know are planners and who we would know based on their location would be more likely to book within Florida and that Southeast region. And programmatically we'll be able to follow them throughout the internet, so anywhere that they may be consuming content. So we know that also currently 73% of planners currently have meetings booked for the remainder of 2020 or into 2021. 10% anticipate being able to return by the end of this year, with another 45 anticipating the first half of 21. So we know that it's really important to be in front of these people and top of mind as they are still planning meetings, even though you know, there's a lot of people still wondering when that will be, but they have confidence that it's coming back. So we want to make sure that we're on the top of their list. Meetings today is a new opportunity. So remarketing display. So Meetings Today is a national trade magazine that delivers news, features, and regional information to the meeting market. 2/3 of their users have been in the industry for over 11 plus years, and 88% are corporate and association planners, which we know is a good area for us. So the messaging or the placement here will be users who have been to the Meetings Today site. Meetings Today will then be able to target them off-site, retarget them off-site. So we know that they're planners and they will be booking those meetings. A new one here is also ePro Direct. So we'll have dedicated emails with them. So ePro Direct is a database of about 80,000 active meeting and event planners. So their database is verified daily, so we can know that we're reaching those planners who are active and still in the industry and booking meetings. So again, here it'll be a dedicated email. It'll be specifically targeted to association and corporate planners within their database, and it'll also be regionally targeted to those states that we had referenced previously. So just a recap of some current placements that we'll have again this year within print, and Florida specifically, we'll have Florida Trend and FSAE. And then nationally, we'll have Meetings Today and Successful Meetings and Meetings and Conventions. From a dedicated email perspective, we'll again have FSAE, which is focused specifically on the Florida market, and then nationally we'll have North Star Travel Group. And
Great.
We will.
You can jump
transition-
right in.
Okay, we'll go into travel agent then. So from a travel agent perspective, again, we'll look to target those agents in certain states that we know would have a history or higher propensity of booking travel for their clients to Florida or the Southeast. So again, here we'll look to maintain our presence with those proven endemic partners, really looking at those educational placements for deeper engagement and helping the agents grow their knowledge of the destination. Programmatic will expand again so that we have that always on approach to reach agents anywhere that they may be. Partner messaging will again be at all funnel phases, since we know that the amenities of the destination and the specific partners will help in the agent's decision making. All agent programs will again be open to accommodation partners as the actual hotel or the rental space, and the amenities that they have to offer will be what help convert that booking for the agent. Messaging across all travel agent tactics can focus on booking incentives for both the travel agent and the consumer. So incentives can be in the form of a booking volume benefit for agents or consumer benefits such as special rates, amenity access, or attraction bundles. KPIs for brand will be a cost per engagement, and again looking at the number of leads from those education-based tactics, and co-op will again look at impressions and those email opens.
Okay, great. And just getting into our travel agent creative approach. So here you see some print and digital display examples. For the most part, travel agents are planning for consumers. So we use a similar approach to the consumer creative campaign, but we tailor it with a travel agent specific language. Travel agents, as we all know, have longer lead times. They're still actively planning. So we want to get into that, get into and stay in their consideration set at all phases of the travel funnel. Again, the VCB sets up the destination and all its varied attributes to give the travel agents the tools to speak to their clients about the destination. So partners should speak to travel agents about commissions, amenities, value add, deals in their portions of co-op.
So getting into new opportunities for media, again, we'll have a programmatic display option here. So again, using that contextual and behavioral targeting to reach agents who would have that higher probability of booking for Florida. Among travel agents, a lot of them are reporting a very high increase this year in domestic inquiries over 2019, just given the shifts this year with travel restrictions. And of those that were willing to travel this fall and winter, Florida was the #1 desired destination that their clients are reporting. So I think it's really important to be in front of these travel agents and again, just staying top of mind as they are seeing this increased demand really for our area. So the placement here will be a display running across the web. And again, like I mentioned, will be open to accommodation partners. Insider Travel Report is a new opportunity this year. We'll have some dedicated emails with them. So Insider Travel Report has a partnership with TA Connect, which is a really large platform of verified agents. It's again updated daily so that we can make sure we're reaching the most current and the most active advisor database. But what Insider Travel Report does is they deliver daily curated emails. So they'll scope out a bunch of different industry sites, and then they'll provide specific content to that advisor based on what their specialties are or their interests are. And they reach over 90,000 verified users, as I said, verified daily. So really qualified audience. So these will be dedicated emails. And then just a recap of some current placements that we'll continue with, the agent at home print. So reaching those agents who are home-based, not in an agency. We'll have print and email with recommend, some dedicated emails with Travel Agent Central, print with Travel Agent and Luxury Travel Advisor, some dedicated emails across Travel Pulse, and then print and email with Travel Weekly. And then jumping into weddings. So our weddings approach, again, we'll target markets specifically with a history that we know would be planning a beach wedding or a destination wedding, and any of those associated events like a honeymoon or bachelorette parties, specifically in the Florida area. Again, we'll look to extend our programmatic approach to be always on, especially now that we know that engagements are really happening more so year round. We'll look to test some new publishers this year and some new platforms and placement types to really make sure that we're receiving the greatest efficiency and engagement from all of our tactics. And we'll again incorporate partner messaging at all funnel phases. And then wedding tactics, again, we'll be open to accommodation partners as the specific wedding location or hotel blocks will be what help convert the bookings to the destination. Messaging here can focus on booking incentives for both brides and grooms. So incentives could be something like a special rate, any packages as far as hotel blocks, something like that, or any upgrades that the couple might receive.
I can jump in here quick.
I apologize. I was on mute. I'm sorry about that. I was talking to myself. I'm sorry, guys. So for weddings, as you can see here, an example of our digital display, our web banners. These are consumers, the audience are consumers, but we do have to differentiate from our regular consumer strategy, of course, because we know that these have much, much longer lead times and involve a lot more planning. So again, we don't follow our typical consumer approach. Again, here you see an example of our digital display creative. We've incorporated a subtle recovery message into our weddings campaign during these ready and set phases of recovery. And you'll see we're focusing on the beach because we know most of our leads are searching for that beach wedding. So as the brand, again, we're familiarizing the consumer to our offering, with our offerings, getting the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel into their consideration set, while keeping in line with our recovery campaign for recall, brand alignment, and therefore reach for you guys and the brand. It's up to partners to provide the perks, discounts, et cetera, to drive bookings to your specific property.
So getting into some new opportunities this year, we are partnering with the Knot and Wedding Wire this year. So they're a very well-known platform for celebrating some of life's biggest milestones. So the Knot and Wedding Wire obviously focused on weddings specifically, but they also have How They Asked, which focuses on engagements, and the Bump, which focuses on babies. So the Knots audience is skewed female, about 74%. They have a median age of 36, and 62% have a household income over $100,000. So one of the offerings here will be some digital display. So this will run across all of their weddings content. It'll just be standard display banners. And again, here, as far as the messaging, just making sure that we're including any of those offer or value adds that the couple might receive. We'll also have some dedicated emails with the Knot. So this will be targeted specifically to brides who are about 9 to 12 months out from their wedding, knowing that the destination wedding does usually take a little bit longer to plan and get everything figured out. And just one thing to note here, that these are limited to one partner sign up per email. And then we'll also have one with the Wedding Wire. Again, obviously the weddings focus here. We'll have that brides 9 to 12 months out here as well. And again, just limited to one partner sign up here. And then just a recap of some current placements that we'll continue with. So we'll have dedicated emails across the Bride Click network. And then we'll also have that programmatic display targeted to brides.
Great, so that closes out the presentation ahead of our co-op demo. A reminder that January to September co-op will open for purchase on November 19th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern exactly. We know that a lot of programs sell out within the first minute, so we definitely encourage you to go into the co-op portal, review, and save your orders ahead of the buy-in. Kylie, if you could advance to the next slide. This presentation is going to be available on leevcb.com. You're going to go to Sales and Marketing, then Marketing Support, then Fiscal Year 2021 Co-op Advertising Plan. On that landing page, that Fiscal Year 2021 Co-op Advertising Plan landing page, you'll find this presentation deck, a recording of the presentation, and also the entire co-op plan as like an Excel doc. It's actually formatted for a PDF, but every placement, everything that you see in the co-op portal is on that PDF for you guys to reference if you need to. Any questions at all, please feel free to contact me at any time. This is my email address. Hopefully a lot of you already know that. And then in the new co-op portal also, we have a footer with a contact section, so my email is also in there too. Okay, I think that we should see if we have, do we have any questions, Sarah, before we jump into the portal demo?
Nothing new, so I think we can roll right into the demo.
Okay, great. Just get my ducks in a row here. Kylie, if you could stop sharing screen, I will share. Thank you. Okay, so before we do get into the demo, I just wanted to go over a few things. So first of all, the new co-op portal is still extremely intuitive, very easy to navigate, but it has been modernized and enhanced. The VCB's really been listening over the years and really made a great resource to further streamline your workflow and make co-op as easy on you as possible. We do want to go over a few items for a short time. We will be working within the two portals. October through December 2020 programs will be in the old portal, and January to September 2021 programs will be in the new. Once we close out December co-op, we will be redirecting the new co-op URL to the old. So you won't have any issues using the new or the old. We'll give some partners some time to download anything from the old portal that they'd like copies of, and then we are going to shut down the old portal. So when you see that email come through asking you to, get everything you need downloaded, please do that, because while the VCB will have a record, they're not going to have it in the same format that you see in the portal. It'll be more difficult to navigate. So the portal is going to be set up a bit differently. You'll now be an account manager role, and you'll have partner accounts assigned to that account manager. So we can get right into this. 1 second. Okay, go to my other screen here. Okay, so this is can everybody see my screen? Joel, thumbs up. You can see the screen. Okay, thank you. So this is the new portal. Again, we're super excited about this. What you guys are going to do is, existing partners, you are going to type in the email that you usually use to, excuse me, I'm lying to you already. What you're going to do is get to this new URL, which is going to be 2021coop.leevcb.com. You're going to click I've forgotten my password, and it's going to request your email that you usually log into the co-op portal with. So just follow the very, very simple, very quick instructions you'll get for your email to create your password, and you will be able to log in immediately. When you do, this is now the new look for the co-op portal. This is going to be your homepage. If you manage multiple accounts, you're going to impersonate up here. We also added notifications, which is amazing. So you guys know that you get emails when you have to take an action in the co-op portal. You'll still get those automatic emails. It'll still drive you to wherever you have to go, whatever the email's referencing, but you'll also see those in your notifications as well. They'll stay in here until you view them. And as you can see, we have a new look here. So we do have filters. You can search by program name. So Conde Nast, you could search. Program group. This is going to be leisure, digital display, native, print. So these are tactics and channels. And then you can also search by partner type. So previously, you guys know, if you're an attraction partner, we had to designate that a program served attraction partners well. Now you won't even get that option if you're an attraction partner. For example, you won't see these accommodation placements because they won't serve you well. Not that we don't want you in them, they just won't serve you well. So when I say partner type, that's where you're going to see this multiple, if it's accommodations and attractions, or just accommodations or just attractions. And then as you can see here, we still have our headers for each channel and tactic, leisure, digital display, native, print, third-party email. We've added run dates, which super excited about. I hope you guys are too. Those will be available on your homepage. This is also your order page, of course, and it's going to behave in a very similar way to the existing portal. So basically, you will, ahead of this buy-in on November 19th, you're going to want to save your order. So like in the old portal, you can click on a program, you'll want to save, and then once you're happy here, you'll click continue. But we also added in this, my favorite feature probably. You guys know when in the existing portal, when you click on a link for a program, it just pulls up a PDF. Now what we have is this awesome program detail page. So you have all the information right here. You have a creative sample. So you know, like right here, partners receive photo, headline, offer message, and direct website link. That's going to be this information right here for you. Now the brand creative is going to change. This is just the sample. It's not that this is the exact creative. We just wanted to show you how you are incorporated into into each placement. So every single placement you see will have one of these creative samples. If you still need that PDF that you had available in the old system, you simply click on that red file and the PDF will pop up. You can download it, forward it, whatever you need to do. And you can also save to your order from here. So if you look at the program detail, you like it, you want it, literally you save to order, and now it's saved as part of your order. However, I would still, once you're happy here and you've added in whichever programming you want, I would always just save once more, and then you're going to click continue. This is ahead of the buy-in. You're going to click continue, and you're going to make sure all of your contact information is correct. Now, this is very important because these are the people that are going to get the emails. Marketing contact, they're going to get alerts to submit materials, approve creative, etc. Billing contact will receive invoices and payment alerts. Another amazing feature that partners have been asking for is the addition of marketing contacts. So now if you have 2 people at your property that want to manage this business, you can add them in simply by clicking add new. And you can also remove at this portion too, and you can also upload your logo, which is not required. Excuse me. There we go. Let me get back into that page. So again, ahead of the buy-in, please make sure all your contact information is correct. You can also update it here under partner accounts. I'm not going to go here because this is an admin account, so I'll see all partners, but your specific businesses will be here, and this is also where you can change your contact information. This right here will be your cart. If you have a credit on your account, which a lot of people do from fiscal year 1920 COVID cancellations, that will be deducted from your balance. You'll see it here. And at 10:30 exactly on November 19th, you are going to refresh this page, and this submit order button will be clickable. So that's why you want to save your order ahead of time, refresh this page at exactly 10:30 Eastern, and submit your order, because we know a lot of these programs sell out within the first minute. So save everything, get the back end work out of the way. So at that specific time, you literally can just refresh and submit. All right. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my bearings here. Okay. All right, so this will, again, work very similar to the current portal. You guys will submit your order, the VCB will review, and you'll get an email that will say that these are the programs you got into. Click here to confirm your order, and you'll be accepting terms. So that will drive you to your orders tab, that email, where you'll have a link that says waiting on your approval. You'll open it, and you will continue to purchase the programs that you got into. If for some reason there's something that you do not want anymore, you just unclick and then click continue, and it won't be part of your order. Once you do order, excuse me, you're able to download your invoice. Of course, as we do in the current system, please note our new address for payment. And that invoice will also be available to you via email. So you'll get an automatic email as soon as you approve the terms. And then another amazing thing, we've all learned this year too with COVID. It was very tough on all of us, right? Revising orders with cancellations and all that stuff. So now, if there is a change to an order, you're going to get a note at the top of this page that is going to say exactly what was changed, and those changes will also live in your revision history. So, you know, I didn't want to clutter up the new portal with fake data, but you'll see it if we have to make any changes to orders, that you can that you'll always have a pulse on what was changed, where was it changed, and you'll be able to track the flow. Once you do click continue, again, you'll get the terms, you'll accept. As soon as you accept, these programs will then move into your ordered programs tab. So you guys are very familiar with this. This is going to behave in much the same way, except for you have more filters now, which is also excellent, especially for partners that buy so many programs. Your program group, your status, if it's waiting on materials approval, you all know what these statuses are from the current system. We kept those uniform. Anything in red will require your attention and action. Items in black are pending VCB action. And we have some cool new things here too, besides the filters. When you actually do have to submit materials, I'm just going to jump to our stage site for 1 second. Our copy from works now, so that's wonderful. So if you submit any program with, Amanda, this is for you. If you submit any program that have the same materials, you can simply copy and they will populate for you. So we had that feature, but it wasn't working as well in the old portal. It did, you know, we all know how that goes. It's older, and this is why the VCB is updating for you. But first time entry, anything with a star is required, a red star is required, as noted up here. I don't know if Beth is on, but Beth actually requested this feature. We're so excited to add it. Now you actually have a ticker that is counting down your copy, so you don't have to guess when you are out of characters. So we're super excited for that. You also have your creative sample here as well. Again, all of this is generic, but this is how you are incorporated on here. So when you're updating your materials, you know exactly what you're looking for, why you're updating each of those materials. You're also going to have, excuse me, a revision history for the entire ordered program. But once materials are submitted, you're also going to have a history down here. So if you change something, you're going to send me a note. It's going to be in here. It's also going to be at the top here, and vice versa. If I don't approve your materials for some reason, or if an admin doesn't approve your materials for some reason, we're going to be able to add a note for you. You'll have that at the top of the page, and then it will live in your remarks. If creative was uploaded, there would be a creative tab right here for you. See if I can get one. Okay. Creative, you'll simply click on the creative and it will pop up. You can see my testing here. And this is going to be your revision history right here for creative. So materials revision history, creative revision history, and then the revision history for the entire program that you submitted your order, you submitted materials, everything will be here. Go back into here. Okay. We're also going to have another feature where if for some reason you don't approve creative and you have to resubmit, you want to change up your copy, you're going to have a function that says creative not approved revised materials. It's going to bring you back to this page so that you still have all the specs here. If it's something like, oh, well, move the, recrop the image or something like that, that will be another option not related to materials that you'll just be able to put in the notes, and we'll get that and then be able to revise your material for you. Revise your creative for you. Also, we have, I know you guys are used to seeing our metric reports, of course. However, these are much more streamlined now. Here we go. We're going to have monthly, and we are going to have consolidated reports by season. So monthly reports will look like this. You'll have your total. But the best part is in our consolidated reports, we know that, right, they're very, very busy. They have like the totals within these columns. Now you're going to have a total row by program after it's completed and we've entered all metrics. So if a TripAdvisor placement runs January through March, you're going to have a January report, February and March report, and then you're going to have a report for January through March with this total here. So you'll see how every single program did very easily, all streamlined here. You can download your reports as an Excel doc or as a PDF. This is also correct here. Excuse me. And another great thing is you can request now ad hoc reports. So if for some reason you need a report from February to June, you can email me through here, or my email address, and say exactly what months you need, and we can pull that specific report for you, just encompassing those months. Really excited about that. Oh, here's our new feature, accounting. We're very, very excited about this as well. No longer will you have to ask status of your payments or what we've changed on an order. Like I said earlier, everything will come into here. So you'll see this partner has a $1,000 pending balance. When we get a check, we go in, we update it, we'll mark it as 1,000, and you'll see a 0 balance. And again, you'll be able to see any changes to your order, which will be listed here under notes description, your order number. Then you'll just go to your orders tab and see what changed on that order if you need it. You'll also have your credits table here. So if you do have a credit, it'll be here. It will show how much credit you have left. Your total credit amount, how much has been used, when we applied the credit, and when the credit ended. So make sure you use your credits, but now you have them here on your accounting tab. All accounting actions are going to be in descending chronological order, so the latest action will be up top. Excuse me. Will be up top. And just about these credits, you'll also see, oh, it expired, but on your programs list, if you do have a credit, you'll also see it up here in your programs listing. It'll be in red right here. And as we discussed, you can update your partner accounts at any time throughout the year. Let me go into here so I don't grab any proprietary information. Let's say that you had access to all these accounts. You could go in here and simply click on this icon to edit. Your partner logo, your business information, all of that can be edited under partner accounts. Excuse me. Under partner accounts. Excuse me. So in addition to, just modernizing and enhancing, we streamline the majority of communications through the co-op portal now. So now you have a record of all actions taken. As we streamline that communication, again, you'll see all those revision histories on your order programs tabs for materials and creative, and on your orders tab under each individual invoice. No longer will you have to try to remember or search our email communications back and forth to see what changes were made to an order. That action will always live in the portal forever. So by far, we've only received positive feedback on the existing portal. I mean, it's older, it's antiquated for sure, but it is a great utility. So we brought a lot of what you like on the current site onto the new site, but we hope that the updates we've made will make your lives even easier, because that is truly the point of it. And then let me just go into our deck here. Just wanted to call out. So the new co-op portal web address is 2021coop.leevcb.com. Again, you're going to select I've forgotten my password and use your existing co-op portal username email to reset and log in. Just follow the directions in your email. Truly, it takes about 30 seconds. Any co-op portal questions to register, any questions about the co-op program as a whole, again, this is my email address. And then also, you can also reach me through the contact footer of the website. This will be me. coop@mmgyglobal.com will also be how you can reach me, and my office phone number is right here. And that is truly it. Does anybody have any questions specific to the portal?
There's nothing in the chat other than people really excited about it. So that's great.
Oh, so excited to hear that. Really, we've been working on it for a very long time, and truly the goal of this portal is to make your lives easier, guys. So we hope that we accomplish that.
I do want to give
if no, go ahead.
Additional shout out to Elizabeth for the hard work and just recognizing how much effort she really put in on the back end, behind closed doors with the team here. Really extra effort, extra hours all around to get this in place, all for that reason that she mentioned. So I do just want to recognize her for that really extremely great effort she's put in.
Thanks, Kylie. I appreciate that. Well, if nobody has any questions, we can sign off. Thank you so much for staying with us. Brian, you might want to say goodbye as well. But thank you again very much for staying with us. And again, all of this information will be available on leevcb.com.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks again to everyone for attending with us today. We hope you get a lot out of it and decide to participate with us. As Elizabeth said, she's available. Myself or members of the marketing team are available. If you guys have any questions or want to discuss any of this plan, we are certainly here to help. So thanks, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.